So good evening and welcome. Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are. We have from different countries. Today, again, we are going to look into reading and listening strategies. Our mission is to make you fall in love with OET, If you're watching this on YouTube, kindly consider subscribe to the channel, give us a thumbs up if you like our work, and share the video to your contacts so that we reach out to maximum number of OET aspirants, especially those who are financially struggling to crack OET. The services at EduSkills are absolutely free, no payments of any sort. So let's empower each other and grow together. So again, we are going into reading and listening skills. We'll be dealing on the basic paragraph structure and other things today. Let's see how we can understand the whole process of listening and reading. And this also going to be useful for IELTS as well as OET. It's the same. These strategies, reading and listening, ultimately 90+% is same. And what I am teaching you today is also useful for IELTS as well as OET. OET reading and listening strategies. Listening skills. First we'll take up listening skills because many were asking for assistance regarding listening. And after that, we'll connect it with reading as well. So listening practice step by step, if you remember, always keep this in mind. If you are not improving in listening, be patient and go through these steps. The first one is, step one is do the test under exam conditions, means just take the same time. Whatever the time is given, definitely in listening, you have to go according to the audio. So definitely you'll be doing it. So do it under the exam conditions. Second step, refer the key and identify the mistakes. Once you do it, refer the key and identify the mistakes. Step 3, record your score on self-assessment form. If you're familiar with the EduSkills method of going about, there is a self-assessment screen, which you have to follow. Step 4, listen to the audio again and try to identify the answers and related strategies. Listen to the audio again and try to identify the answers and related strategies. Step 5, listen to the audio plus read the script and mark answers and highlight the related strategies. Okay, listen to the audio, read the script and mark the answers and highlight the related strategies. It means this multitasking has to be done. Step 6, detailed analysis of the audio and script to understand the strategies involved. Detailed analysis of the audio and the script to understand the strategies involved. We'll be going through all these steps today probably. Analytically, last step is analytically listen to the same audio repeatedly for a week. If you're not improving, go through these 7 steps. Okay, these Saptapadi or the 7 steps are very, very important. For step 1, do the test under exam conditions. Don't take extra time. Score whatever the score you have got. Try to understand those things. Step 2, refer the key and identify the mistakes. Step 3, record your score on self-assessment form. Step 4, listen to the audio again. Okay, and try to identify the answers and related strategies. Once you have gone through the keys, you know what is the answer. So try to identify. Step 5, listen to the audio and read the script and mark the answers and highlight the related strategies. Listen to the audio, read the script and mark the answers and highlight the related strategies. Step 6, detailed analysis of the audio and script to understand the strategies involved. Analytically listen to the same audio repeatedly for it. So these 7 steps, try to follow these 7 steps so that you understand what is listening and develop the listening skills. Just go as per the guidance in the audio, okay?
Now look at Extract 2. Extract 2, questions 37 to 42. You hear a neurologist called Dr. Frank Madison giving a presentation about the overuse of painkillers. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 37 to 42.
We'll be reading only 37, okay? I'll be giving out a couple of seconds to read.
I'm Dr. Frank Madison, and I'm a neurologist with a special interest in the overuse of painkillers, particularly of opioids, something experts are now calling the silent epidemic. Now, we've all seen the stereotypical images of addicts hooked on recreational drugs, but addiction to painkillers like opioids has a much less familiar public face. From what I've seen, one reason for this is that the range of people affected makes them less easy to pigeonhole. I mean, there's no typical age, social class, and so on. And of course, most people seeking help for opioid overuse were initially prescribed the medication by their own doctors for pain relief. This highlights a major part of the problem. Physicians often pay little attention to the possible risk of addiction. They need to look carefully at patients' personal histories and assess the risk, considering things like depression and anxiety disorders, before prescribing opioids.
Let's try. See here. Exercise 2, question 37 to 40. You're a neurologist. Okay. Neurologist. Name is Frank Madison. And giving a presentation about the overuse of painkillers. This is known as the context, very important. The context is very important because we can foresee, as you know, the first method of reading. First step is in reading 5 out of 5 steps. First step is foreseeing or predicting or speculating overuse of painkillers. So this whole audio or the text or this, the whole listening extract speaks about overuse of painkillers. So here in Madison, Dr. Madison's experience means his experience who become addicted to painkillers. Okay, patients who become addicted to painkillers. So painkiller addiction. Option A are more likely to move on to hard drugs. That means they gradually move on to hard drugs. And option B come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Then they usually have existing psychological problems. Okay, this is how we identify the heading words or the concepts in the question stem. This first line is the question stem, then other answer options A, B, C. You have to choose the right answer. Okay, anyhow, once again, I am going to play the audio. Please listen and try to identify the answer, okay, since there is confusion.
Now look at Extract 2. Extract 2, questions 37 to 42. You hear a neurologist called Dr. Frank Madison giving a presentation about the overuse of painkillers. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 37 to 42.
Try to listen to the topic sentence first.
I'm Dr. Frank Madison, and I'm a neurologist with a special interest in the overuse of painkillers, particularly of opioids, something experts are now calling the silent epidemic. Now, we've all seen the stereotypical images of addicts hooked on recreational drugs, but addiction to painkillers like opioids has a much less familiar public face. From what I've seen, one reason for this is that the range of people affected makes them less easy to pigeonhole. I mean, there's no typical age, social class, and so on. And of course, most people seeking help for opioid overuse were initially prescribed the medication by their own doctors for pain relief. This highlights a major part of the problem. Physicians often pay little attention to the possible risk of addiction. They need to look carefully at patients' personal histories and assess the risk, considering things like depression and anxiety disorders, before prescribing opioids.
Okay, let's check the whole thing about with the script. Okay, we are going to listen to the audio, read the script, and at the same time, if you have a notebook, write down if there is something that strikes your brain. Okay, so let's check. Listen now.
Now look at Extract 2. Extract 2, questions 37 to 42. You hear a neurologist called Dr. Frank Madison giving a presentation about the overuse of painkillers. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 37 to 42.
I'm Dr. Frank Madison, and I'm a neurologist with a special interest in the overuse of painkillers, particularly of opioids, something experts are now calling the silent epidemic. Now, we've all seen the stereotypical images of addicts hooked on recreational drugs, but addiction to painkillers like opioids has a much less familiar public face. From what I've seen, one reason for this is that the range of people affected makes them less easy to pigeonhole. I mean, there's no typical age, social class, and so on. And of course, most people seeking help for opioid overuse were initially prescribed the medication by their own doctors for pain relief. This highlights a major part of the problem. Physicians often pay little attention to the possible risk of addiction. They need to look carefully at patients' personal histories and assess the risk, considering things like depression and anxiety disorders, before prescribing opioids.
Yeah, any change in your opinions now? Now coming to this, move on to hard drugs. Variety of backgrounds and existing psychological problems are the three concepts. And here, Dr. Madison's experience is important. And addicted to painkillers, patients who are addicted to painkillers. Okay, and this portion is the context, okay? This portion is the context. This one you have to listen to only for understanding the context. And the real text audio begins from here. Okay, we have all seen. What does it mean?
We already.
That is the experience of everyone, not just Dr. Madison's experience. We have all seen means. Our experience says the stereotypical images of addicts hooked on recreational drugs. But if there is a contrast word, what comes next to after the contrast word is the opinion of the author or the experience of the author. Addiction to painkillers like opioids has much less familiar public space. This is actually, this first one is known as the topic sentence, but the real sentence begins here. Since there's a contrast here, the real sense begins here. Addiction to painkillers like opioids, even like opioids, that can be strike out if you find it difficult to understand. You can just read addiction to painkillers has a much less familiar public face. Okay? There is not much familiar public space. Face means, what is the meaning? Has a much less means there is no familiar public place means that is being explained again. From what I have seen, that is whose experience? Madison's
experience.
Yeah. First one was general experience. Now this is he is speaking about his experience. But what I have seen. What I have seen means my experience says Dr. Madison's experience. One reason for this is that the range of people affected makes them less easy to pigeonhole. The range, they are explaining what is meant by addiction to painkillers has a much less familiar public place. That is being explained, the range of people. You have to see whether any of the concepts in the options is connected to this much less to public place.
Variety of background.
Variety of backgrounds.
Okay, variety of
Backgrounds.
And the affected makes them less easy to pigeonhole. Again, I mean means again is explaining. Same is being explained. What is much less familiar public place means the range of people affected. Then I mean there is no typical age. There is no social class and so on. There is no typical age or typical social class or other things. They're not typical same thing. It's all different. Means variety of backgrounds. Okay, so this is the topic sentence, first sentence. which starts, we have all seen the stereotypical images of addicts hooked on recreational drugs. But the real controlling idea or the sentence begins here, but addiction to painkillers has a much less familiar public face. Only because you have a bit less competency in language options. You did not understand this. Otherwise, this really means variety of backgrounds. Okay, negative expression, this is a negative way of putting it. If you have not understood from what I have seen, he is supporting it or explaining it, saying the range of people. Then again, he is explaining, I mean, what I mean is this. There is no typical age, social class, and so on, means variety of backgrounds. Physicians often pay little attention to the possible risk of addiction. What is little attention means? No attention. Little means negative. No attention. That is the scale expression there. That's not exactly required here, but just see this one. See, whatever is in this portion, which I have highlighted here, the later portion, half of the later portion of the paragraph is not at all required here. Because this is based on the topic sentence. Answer is based on the topic sentence. Let's just have an analysis. This is what I said, you should have the analysis of the text. Okay, now see here. This is the context, overuse of painkillers. They are going to speak about overuse of painkillers, particularly of opioids. Okay, that is the context. Then you have the topic sentence here, which contains a contrast word, but then you have the controlling idea. Addiction to painkillers like opioids has a much less familiar public face. This controlling idea is the answer actually come from it. Patients who become addicted to painkillers come from a very wide variety of backgrounds. And that is so SS means supporting sentence. This topic sentence is explained in the supporting sentence from what I have seen, my experience, Dr. Madison's experience. I mean, again, developing sentence. DS means developing sentence means illustrating the topic sentence. What I mean in the topic sentence, what did I say? When I said they have they have a much less familiar public face means there is no typical age, social class, and so on of addiction to painkillers. So this is how beautifully it is done. So you have a topic sentence. The context will be given in the beginning. You just to understand the whole thing. Let's concentrate on the context and understand who is speaking, what specialist, what is his designation, and what is the topic. That will be in the context. Then really the topic sentence and the supporting sentence and developing sentence, sometimes conclusions will be explained. So this is the beauty of the text. So the answer is in the topic sentence. This is known as the controlling idea in the topic tense after the contrast word. So you have answer from the topic sentence. That's why we call this type of questions as topic sentence based questions. Okay. Now synonyms. In Dr. Madison's experience, topic sentence begins with we have all seen, means it's our common experience. Then question stem speaks about patients who become addicted to painkillers. Topic sentence says addiction to painkillers. See, these are the synonymous language. Okay. And B, the option B says come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Has a much less, the topic sentence says has a much less familiar public face. The synonymous language being used. And paraphrasing, in Dr. Madison's experience, patients who become addicted to painkillers come from a wide variety of backgrounds. This sentence, you have to read the question stem and the option together. Then we have all seen addiction to painkillers like opioids has much less familiar public face. This is a real paraphrasing of the question stem, and the correct option is paraphrased in the topic sentence. Okay, see, we have all seen this is a general experience. Again, he says what from my experience. So it's almost like you can presume from here, this is his experience. Patients who become addicted to painkillers, addiction to painkillers, this is the synonymous. Then, come from a wide variety of backgrounds, has a much less familiar public face. These are the synonymous language. And when you know the synonymous language, definitely you understand what is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is using or speaking or writing or reading about the same sentence using different synonyms or synonymous language. So synonyms means different words giving the same meaning. Synonymous means different words, a group of words, a phrase Also giving the different phrases, giving the same meaning, different group of words. And paraphrasing means writing or listening the same sentence in different words. Okay. See now, question stem plus answer option B. We have to read it together. The question stem here in the adoptive medicine's experience, patients who become addicted to painkillers. And option B, answer option B is come from a wide variety of backgrounds. Topic sentence. We have all seen addiction to painkillers has a much less familiar public face. You know, Dr. Madison's experience, we have all seen means our experience is this. Then patients who become addicted to painkillers, addiction to painkillers, come from a wide variety of backgrounds, has a much less familiar public face. They have put it in negative way, and this is the controlling idea. Has a much less familiar public face is being explained in the next sentence, supporting sentence, explanation of topic sentence. From what I have seen, they see here you have the general experience. Then Madison particularly explains, saying that this is my experience, Madison's experience. So the range of people affected makes them less easy to pigeonhole. Pigeonhole means categorize or put them in one group. So we have all seen from what I have seen. Okay, that is coming to particularize experience. Addiction to painkillers affected and has much less familiar public face, the range of people, variety of people or range of people. So these are the synonymous expressions. Now, developing sentence. DS means developing sentence means illustration of topic sentence, where the author says what I mean, illustrates what I mean. There is no typical age, no social class, no typical social class, and so on. Means the range of people affected are various, a variety, different types of people are affected. Has a much less familiar public face. How beautifully they are connected. This is how you have to do the analysis of the script. As you practice, then listen again or repeatedly, even for if you need be for a week. You can practice other listening as well, but at least certain audio which you don't understand, try to listen them after the analysis so that you clearly understand the accent and how they present. Okay, so the range of people, there is no typical age, social class, all those things. Okay, hope you have got it.